Uh, Need some beans for the chowder here.
Most people don't realize that they're in a trap until it's too late. The system is designed to keep you just comfortable enough to never question it. You work 40 to 50 years, retire when you're too old to enjoy it, and then quietly fade away. That's the default path for many people. Sadly, lots of Americans and people all over the world are getting trapped by the system, meaning that they have no choice but to continue working. It doesn't have to be that way. I want all of us to build a life of meaning and freedom, and I mean this when I say it. There's nothing more of a gift than having something in your life that fires you up to get up out of bed in the morning. But the system we live in can trap you if you're not careful, making it very hard to live life on your terms. It'll steal from you quietly, slowly, then eventually permanently. And if you're not careful, it's very hard to escape it once you're in it. So in today's video, I want to talk about what the system really is, how I personally avoided getting stuck in it, and how you can avoid it too. I remember my first week at my full-time job after graduating college at a big insurance company, knowing that I had to be there 5 days a week. I had to put the full work days in. I thought to myself, wow, like this is it? Like this is going to be my next 40 years of my life? Like someone else sets my schedule, tells me where I have to be and when, and if I want to take days off, I need permission from my boss, and this kind of depressed me. Like I looked at guys that were at the company for 40 years and like, sure, they were financially stable and had, good lives, but is that what I wanted my life to be like? So I really questioned it right when I got to the job. Fast forward now to 28, and I wouldn't consider myself part of the traditional system. I work remotely, living off online income streams like software development, this YouTube channel, consulting, and dividends, and I haven't had a 9 to 5 for 8 months now. Now, I can't retire and stop working forever. I'm not a millionaire, but I have a really nice cushion that gives me freedom while I work on what I want to work on. I can say no to things, I walked away from my job, and I have travel freedom. And this didn't happen overnight, and I would credit the decisions I made in my 20s and positioning myself to make something like this possible. Before we go further, just a few things. This topic is complex and can get real fast. I mean, this conversation inevitably gets into the economy, culture, politics, money, values, and all the stuff that people argue about online, so just be nice in the comments, please. And second, I'm not anti-job. My 9 to 5 actually gave me the income and skills I needed to build the life that I have now. And this video is mainly about avoiding traps, like the kind that keep you stuck in a situation that you don't want. Not all 9 to 5 jobs are traps, but a lot of them are. Let's be honest with ourselves. So if you love your job and you're meeting people and you're thriving financially, like you're winning in life, this video might still have some takeaways for you, but it's less targeted at you. For those who feel stuck or they want to create a life of freedom and avoid these traps, let's get right into it and start with a few fairly common scenarios. Let's meet Johnny. Johnny graduates with a decent degree and lands a $60K job after college. He's excited. He's got his first real big paycheck. So he moves into a nicer apartment, he upgrades his car, starts spending more. Then he meets a lady and they get married, they have kids, and the bills just pile up. The debt grows and suddenly he needs more money to fund the lifestyle, so he takes a higher paying job that he hates just to survive. He's now paycheck to paycheck, he's trapped, there's no free time, he can't quit, he can't slow down, and this becomes his life. Next, let's meet Mike. Mike skips college and goes straight into the trades. He starts working construction at 19, and the money's actually decent early on. He's pulling 50K plus by his early to mid-20s. He buys a nice truck, he helps his family, he starts renting his own place, and over time he eventually gets a mortgage. The problem for him is that the hours are brutal. He's out the door by 6 in the morning, he's physically wrecked at the end of the day, and weekends are for his recovery, not his rest. And before he knows it, 10 years fly by, and his body's already breaking down from the work, and he doesn't really hate the work, but he's exhausted, he wants to slow down or maybe change careers, but he can't because he has no time, because he's locked into a lifestyle that depends on that weekly paycheck. He has no backup plan, limited savings, and he doesn't have much time to learn something new. And just like that, Mike is trapped too. Didn't mean to rhyme that. These are some very scary yet real examples for many people just getting trapped by our system. So what is the system anyways? I would define it as this: the invisible treadmill that most people are stuck on. You work a job you don't like to pay bills for a lot of stuff you don't need, for a lifestyle that you're not sure you even want. You're living paycheck to paycheck because the system's designed that way. It runs on debt. It wants you to have student loans, car loans, credit cards, mortgages. They get you young and they keep you dependent. You trade your time for money 5 days a week for 40 plus years, fixed schedule, no freedom, no control. You don't pick your hours, you don't pick your location. That's the trap to me. That's the system. It's not just about money, it's about autonomy, and the system's built to keep it just out of reach till you're too old to really enjoy it. I knew in my life that I wanted more autonomy and passion for the things I was working on, so I always made decisions in my 20s that helped me move towards that life of freedom. Here's how I personally avoided the system trap. I made a good decision with my college degree, getting a comp sci degree at a state school, knowing that eventually it would pay off well. I kept my lifestyle cheap. I always lived with roommates or even lived with my parents, and I didn't scale up my lifestyle because that's one great way to erode your freedom. I invested consistently, especially during market dips, which multiplied my net worth. When it came time to leave my job, I mapped out, income streams that I could make. I got to 10K subs on YouTube before quitting, and I had plans when I left my job. And I avoided massive debt and major lifestyle inflation along the way, and this gave me freedom to have options. I really valued optionality. I didn't want to be tied down to anything. I never saw having a big mortgage or payment as something that I wanted to put up with. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't crazy, but it worked. I created a life where now I have options due to those decisions, and if I played my hand differently, I might not have been able to quit and pick up everything and move and do what I'm doing now. So I've said this before on my channel, you can change your situation, but it requires work. It's way easier to start if you start early on, especially in your 20s. You don't need to even quit your 9 to 5. Honestly, I credit my 9 to 5 with funding my escape. But you do need a plan. You need to be intentional with what you're learning, what life you want, where your money goes, and whether you're aiming for a more fulfilling job, something creative, starting a business, or just more freedom, you need to prepare for it. Working on what you want can have many meanings. Could mean a good 9 to 5 where you're growing, you're learning, you're networking, you're getting paid fairly. Could be starting a business, could be something else. I personally went through this phase where I had to define what I wanted to do and what I wanted my days to look like. And if you get complacent during this process, it might not work out well. So let me break down a few of the common ways people get trapped by the system. Number one is you get locked into a career path. So you chase a degree or a job for the money, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in a path that you don't like. And this is very common with people with specialized degrees. Maybe they did law for 8 years, realized they hate it. Maybe they did accounting or something, just realized they hated it. And it's easy for this to become a mistake because your job often becomes your identity and you're scared to try anything else, even if you're miserable. So sometimes you may need to make the switch if you're not earning well or you're not learning or you're not happy. The next common mistake is a big one, lifestyle inflation. And a lot of this I think is caused by social media and just the ease of getting into debt and getting kind of these loans to buy things. Many people start making more and they start spending more. They compare themselves to people on social media who are also in debt and they're just trying to impress people. And a lot of people go broke for no reason. I'm going to list some things that people just spend way too much money on, but it's a big problem. When I made more money, I kept my lifestyle the same. This allowed me to invest more and bought me some more freedom. Another big way to get trapped is falling into too much debt, which can come in a variety of ways. This could be, a big mortgage you can't afford or something too early. It could be a car loan. The average car payment is way too high in America. Could be a bad university degree. People just spend too much money, and being cheap's just come natural to me, so I was able to avoid a lot of these traps. But you need to be cheap and avoid excessive debt where possible. Now, not all debt is bad. Sometimes a house is a good call. You obviously need a good car, but just be careful with what you're buying. Another common way people get trapped, and this is maybe a little bit more of a controversial one, is I would call it rushed family pressure. Now, don't get me wrong. I think having kids is a great goal and wonderful goal. It's my goal too. But it's much easier if you get to financial stability before you have kids. I mean, kids are expensive. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure each kid, from 0 to 18 costs like $200,000, and that number is growing every year. So many people follow society's timeline. They, get married and have kids maybe before they're ready. And that puts you in survival mode where you have, again, limited freedom. So make sure you're in a good spot before having kids. So let's say you're successfully avoiding some of these traps. You're not inflating your lifestyle. You're maximizing your income. You need to figure out now how to spend your days and find work you like, or at least at the very minimum can tolerate. You aren't really stuck if you enjoy the work you're doing. And I do know some people, although it's not very common, that love their 9 to 5 job. And if you're one of those people, that's a big blessing and you're winning in life. That's a big win. One of my best friends is a mechanical engineer and it's the perfect job for him. He was always building stuff throughout his life and it's literally just a job made for him. He loves it and it's great for him. Another one of my friends chooses, instead of the corporate route, they work on a beach, they work at a bar, they bartend at night, and they can surf during the day. And, sure, doesn't make much money, but he's happy, and he's doing better than a lot of high earners, I would say, in that regard. Sometimes the guy making $40K doing what he loves is better off than the guy making $200K in the big firm who hates his life. Freedom doesn't always mean rich. It just means living life on your own terms and being able to do what you want. Me personally, I'm still making less money than I did my 9 to 5, but the freedom trade-off is insane. I still have to work very hard, but I can now work on what I want, and that's a great feeling. Entrepreneurship can be wild, and it might not be the answer for everyone. So maybe the answer is just find a job or some type of work that you enjoy. The next sad reality that will help you avoid the trap is that sometimes one job might not even be sufficient income anymore, or it doesn't have the same stability that it once had. Especially if you hate your job, there's no better time to begin to develop other streams of income around your passions. I mean, for me, I got a couple of these, you're well aware. I make pretty casual YouTube videos and get paid, a few thousand a month off of these. Could be something you're passionate about, content, coding, consulting. You just never know what could become a full-time thing in the future. So if you're in a job, I would just start taking a look at a few things. Could be freelancing, could be just getting a client on the side. You'll learn so much, you'll meet people, and you can't really go wrong with that if you want to have more options. So here's some steps that you can do right now, regardless of the situation you're in, to avoid becoming trapped. Number one is either delay or at least heavily reconsider big purchases. Like, make sure it's a good call, really crunch the numbers and make sure it's a good decision for you. Next would be to build skills and networks. Like, networks can go a longer way than having actual money, I would say. Like, skills that you can offer in the marketplace are very valuable. Having people that's valuable too. So you can never go wrong picking up those two things. Look into your hobbies. See if you can monetize your hobbies or just some sort of service, right? Like, there's so many things we can do nowadays in the internet age that the opportunities all around us, you just have to see it. And finally, you have to learn from others who escaped. So find some examples of people who left the system and learn from them. What did they do? Study their path, see what you like, see what you don't like. I had a few people in my life that I was grateful to really learn from their successes and failures just by watching and interacting with them. It taught me a lot, and a lot of that I took into how I live my life. Unfortunately, there will probably be a lot of people watching this who are trapped, and I'm very sad that our system's set up that way, but that's just the reality. I'm going to give you a few ways and things to think about to help you slowly dig your way out. It is possible to escape this situation with enough work and a little bit of luck. Number one, don't panic. You have time, and panic's kind of a waste of energy that you'll need to turn the ship around. Number two, audit if you have any crazy expenses or any places you could reduce your expenses. Maybe downgrade your car, downgrade your living situation, eliminate dumb payments, stuff like that. Next, you'll need to use your free time very intelligently. Like, to start slow, maybe after work. Look into something creative, look into freelancing, learn a new skill. You need to be using your free time to the max, and it's going to be tough. It's going to require sacrifice. That's just the brutal reality. Working after work sucks, but in these situations, it must be done. Any little success after work, maybe getting one client or testing out one idea, could eventually lead you to having some optionality, even if it's just one small step. If you're not interested in the entrepreneurial route, maybe look into switching into a more flexible job with better work hours, or just doing something you enjoy more. There's plenty of things you can try. I would look into either switching your job situation up entirely or trying to build something on the side at the end of the day. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives you something to think about, whether you're 22 and just starting out or you're 38 and you're feeling stuck. The best time to build freedom is now. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.